Everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I want to talk about the Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 2 finale, which is going to be airing in just 2 days from now. We know the end goal for Season 3, or at least where they're going for Season 3, and so how is the finale going to set all that up? Well, let's talk about all that here in this video. So before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. Now, one quick thing that I wanted to mention, because I don't think I actually mentioned this in a previous video, maybe I did in my Q&A, I'm not entirely sure, I don't remember, but the ratings for the Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 2 Episode 5 were actually at 0.504 million viewers. So just over 500,000 viewers, which is a slight increase from the previous episode. So the finale, like, it might drop, it might stay around there. I don't think it's going to do a crazy jump to like 700,000 or like a crazy drop to like 300,000 or 400,000, right? Like it's probably going to stay, like it might be like 490 or 480,000 or something, but it's probably going to stay about where it's at, which is very, very good numbers. Well, it's not like amazing numbers. It's not like this show is breaking records or anything like that, because AMC would announce something like that, but it's numbers that are very stable for a show, like a spin-off. So I think that, yeah, just kind of cool to see, but we'll see what the numbers are going to be like after the finale, because that's what I'm really interested in, is where all of this ends up overall. And also the one thing that I'm really excited about, just sort of in general, is the Walking Dead Dead City Season 2's ratings, because the Walking Dead Dead City Season 1, the ratings were much higher than Daryl Dixon Season 1. I think the ratings were closer to the Ones Who Live. So I'm really curious on Dead City's ratings, and if that was just sort of, maybe the ratings were that high because it was a couple of months after The Walking Dead just ended, though I don't really think so, because the numbers maintained pretty much throughout. So we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I think that there is going to be a drop, obviously, but is it going to be lower than Daryl Dixon Season 2, right? Where the numbers are coming in at like 300 or like 400,000? Or is it going to be higher and like match the numbers from Daryl Dixon Season 1? Because that would be really, really fascinating, because I thought that in terms of ratings that, you know, Daryl Dixon would probably be like the best show. Obviously, I'm not including The Ones Who Live. I know that that show was hyped up for like 6 years, so, or not the show, but, you know, the Rick movie trilogy that eventually turned into the show. I just figured out of these two spinoffs that Daryl Dixon would probably do a lot better because it's Daryl, but I guess, you know, people like Negan a lot more. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see what the ratings are going to be like for Dead City Season 2, which I expect is going to be coming out in like February or March. But let's talk about the finale here. So there's actually quite a bit of stuff here that I think confirms, honestly, a lot. And also, I do want to say, if my audio quality is a lot better now, it's because I have my air conditioner out, because I've had that in for the last, I don't know, however many months. And so if there was sort of a change in the audio a little bit, because obviously I had to reduce the noise and whatnot, so you didn't really hear it too much. Yeah, that's why. But we do have this shot here, and I'm going to be trying to go in order here of how I think a lot of this stuff is going to play out here. So we have this one shot of Daryl. There's actually a couple of images of this, and we see Daryl with a guitar. And so at some point, he's going to go out and I guess find a guitar. I don't think he's going to be traveling to like a nearby city, or maybe he does. I have no idea. Like, honestly, the one thing about these episodes is that I'm always assuming that they're not going to be able to like travel from multiple places or something, because, you know, just of the pacing. But I'm really basing that off of The Walking Dead's pacing, which I think is honestly really well paced overall. Like, I think that it makes you able to live in the story a little bit more and experience things more in real time with the characters, which I personally value quite a bit, instead of the characters teleporting here and there basically from scene to scene, and you're just like, wait, what is going on? And so I don't think that's what's happening here, though. I think Daryl's probably just going to find this somewhere around the area, and he'll find this guitar and give it to Laurent. And I don't remember if Laurent does play guitar, if that was a thing in the very first episode where we first saw Laurent. I feel like maybe that did actually happen, but I don't remember as of right now. But we do see Laurent actually playing this guitar here. So the one thing that we haven't seen yet is the scene where Daryl is supposed to be singing with Laurent. And so what actually happens here is Laurent is supposed to be singing in this scene, and so apparently the actor was very, very nervous, and so Norman Reedus actually helped him out in this scene and was sort of singing with him. And so they really liked that in terms of filming it all. And so they just left that in. So it's actually Daryl singing with Laurent, which is really interesting because, you know, obviously for the context, it changes it quite a bit here. That's really amazing because Laurent, you know, he just lost Isabel. He's going to be saying goodbye to Daryl and Carol. And I don't know why he's performing this song, or I don't know what is, you know, maybe he's singing a song that Isabel used to sing, but he seems very scared and he needs help. And so I think Daryl singing with him, helping build him up. I think that's really amazing. And I think that the fact that that wasn't even originally written there, like Norman Reedus just sang that and then they were like, oh wow, that really built up the scene really well. Like that's really incredible. I cannot wait to watch this scene here. I wonder if it's going to make it a lot more emotional for Laurent to actually leave. Like that is one of the things that I always think about, like Laurent going back to the Commonwealth, like if he actually does go, I'm assuming he's going to because of a lot of the images coming up here and we'll talk about that. But if he's gone, like that's going to be really, I feel like a lot for Daryl, to sort of deal with because, and I will say, I really like how they've explored the Daryl and Laurent relationship because in the beginning, it was like everyone assumed, okay, that's a father-son relationship. And I think that was a lot for Daryl in the beginning, just to sort of take on that responsibility. But over time, he's learned that. He's wrestled with it. He said, no, I don't want that responsibility. And then when moments happen where you're faced with like this really hard situation, all of a sudden it becomes much more real. And I think Daryl now at this point is just like totally accepted that. Like he's totally accepted responsibility for Laurent. And so he wants him to be safe. And so Laurent going back to the Commonwealth, I think is really great in terms of Daryl's story. But I just wonder for the overall story if Laurent is actually going to be going there or not. Like maybe he's on his way there right now, but something happens and so Laurent returns in season 3 or maybe in season 4. I could see that potentially happening because the actor who plays Laurent has been with the cast like literally all season promoting this season. It doesn't necessarily mean like he's going to be there for season 3 and 4, but I could see that, maybe doing that because like no one else was there. Like Isabelle, Madame Genet, Caudron, like no one else was there at all. And so maybe that's because they're sort of hinting that he's a part of the main cast. And so maybe he's gone for now, but maybe he will actually return. Maybe he returns with the Commonwealth, or not the Commonwealth, but the CRM, right? Like I could totally see that. That'd be really incredible. But then we have some shots here of Daryl and Carol, and it looks like, first of all, they're by this vehicle here. And first of all, they're dressed differently. So Carol has like this scarf or something around her. She's holding like this blanket or whatever. And it looks like at this point that they're traveling somewhere. Like it does seem like they're totally not in the garage area. They're actually on their way probably to Spain, I'm guessing, right? Like at some point here, we're going to learn why they go to Spain. We actually have a shot here of Falou and then this unknown character here. And I think that the reason Falou and Caudron come into the story here is because, first of all, there's still some stuff here with the Nest and Pouvoir that, they have to deal with in terms of just the overall story of the season. But I think that they're going to set up something here where, they get a vehicle or something and now they have a way out. Like Falou is going to be like, all right, you have to go here or whatever, and we can probably get you a way out to America somehow, right? And it's probably going to be, I guess, going to Spain. And so that's why they're likely going to Spain. Like, I think there's going to be other stuff there, other details that I'm missing because it's not going to be that predictable, but we know that they're going to Spain for season 3. So you sort of look at the story overall and that Daryl and Carol are not going back to America. Like no matter what happens, they're going to Spain for season 3. So we already know that, right? So I'm really interested in seeing how the story ends here. We have this one shot of Daryl and I don't know who the character is behind him, but behind both of the characters here, we actually see a tunnel. And so I think this is where the ending of the episode is going to go. So this tunnel is likely leading somewhere, but this is going to be a big part of the episode, it seems like. In the opening credits, actually, they've been sort of teasing this like all season. I think that this tunnel, like the final shot of the opening credits is of this tunnel. So it makes sense that the final, scene or final area that we're going to be in for the season is going to be them going into this tunnel here. And I'm not sure, what they're going to find there. There is a shot here actually of Daryl, and it's really interesting because Daryl has a flashlight and he's like looking at stuff. And so when you're looking at a scene like this, it almost seems like there's some bigger reveal happening. Like, oh, Daryl's going to find something here because maybe it's a Rick Grimes reveal. But like, I think that if this was in America, then I would say, yeah, that's most likely, what is happening here. I think that would be really insane because, then you can make a lot of connections, right? Like that's one of the things about having Daryl in America is you can have a lot more of those connections, but it's possible that at some point in the next couple of seasons here with Laurent going back to the Commonwealth, if he does show up with the CRM, maybe there's a way that, the CRM could actually be more involved in the story. And that's going to be a big thing, that we focus on for season 3 and 4 is Laurent's return. Like if he's going to return with the CRM or like any sort of clues on them coming back to France or what have you, right? And that's going to be a really interesting part to all of this because I want to see if Ash or Laurent learn, like before they leave, are they going to learn of Daryl and Carol's plan to go to Spain? Because if they don't know that they're in Spain, then it's going to be kind of hard to find them, but I'm sure they'll find a way overall. But we do have this really cool scene here of Carol, and she's actually walking through the tunnels here. The lighting is all green, and so I do think that during a lot of this here, there's going to be a lot of hallucinations. We know that there's going to be bioluminescent walkers, and so I'm not entirely sure of what to expect from this scene. Like, I don't know if this is going to be hinting at some of the Walker origin stuff, or like what is going to be happening here. It's one of those things where when you watch scenes like this, like honestly, from my experience of just watching The Walking Dead, it's really like, there's never going to be anything here that's really like that, like just in your face, like this is related to this or that, or like this is the Walker origin. It's going to be something where they walk by something and then we're watching the scene and we're going to like read something on the wall, or there'll be something in the background and we're all going to be like, oh wait, what does that mean? Right? Like that's usually what it is. And so I'm expecting that there's going to be something kind of interesting here, because there are bioluminescent walkers. Like, why is that? Like, why is that a thing here? Like, what's down here? What's this place overall? Like, I'm really just interested in a lot of that. I'm interested in how this finale is going to end, because I mean, they're in a really interesting place. Like, are they going to leave this place at the end, or is it going to end with them still here? Like, is it going to be a cliffhanger? Like, that's sort of what I'm sort of expecting at this point, because there's so many scenes that need to happen. So I'm just, yeah, I think this season's going to end on some sort of cliffhanger, and obviously we'll be excited for season 3. And I'm definitely really excited for season 3 in terms of changing the story quite a bit. You know, I think that the France storyline with Pouvoir and whatnot was really exciting, but I just think that overall with season 2, there were a lot of issues that made me not that excited, I would say, for the ending of the arc. And now I just want something new. And I think that going to Spain and some of the story that they could actually get into there, you know, could be really exciting. And so I can't wait for that. But the finale, I am excited for, because we're in this different part to the story now where Pouvoir and all of that is basically almost over. Like, I think some of that will end here in the finale, and then we'll see where they go here, right? I guess in this very last episode, and how it's all going to end. And so, yeah, but definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.